family, and welcome back to the channel. Dragon Canoe checking in again. Let me know what y'all think, man. Leave a note in the comments. My mic is on fire for this one. Dragon Canoe doing what he do best, staying in check, searching for the Melchizedek. In this case, brings us to Natchez, Mississippi, and the Natchez Indians, Emerald Mound, Grand Village, Mississippi. Y'all from Mississippi? Let me know. We're tapping in for this one. Let's get it. We're going to get into ancient Israel and the connection to matriarchal lineages in the Natchez Indians. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Buckle up. Hold on tight. We're stepping on a hijack's neck tonight. Let's get it. All praise to the Most High. Allah.
Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord whom ye seek shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith the Lord of hosts. But who may abide the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like fuller's soap. And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver, and he shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Lord an offering in righteousness. Then shall the offering of Judah and Jerusalem be pleasant unto the Lord, as in the days of old, and as in former years. And I will come near to you to judgment. And I will be a swift witness against the sorcerers, and against the adulterers, and against false swearers, and against those that oppress the hireling in his wages, the widow and the fatherless, and that turn aside the stranger from his right, and fear not me, saith the Lord of hosts. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Even from the days of your fathers ye are gone away from mine ordinances, and have not kept them. Return unto me, and I will return unto you, saith the Lord of hosts. But ye said, wherein shall we return? Will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offerings. Ye are cursed with a curse, for ye have robbed me, even this whole nation. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house, and prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven, and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. And I will rebuke the devourer for your sakes, and he shall not destroy the fruits of your ground. Neither shall your vine cast her fruit before the time in the field, saith the Lord of hosts. And all nations shall call you blessed, for ye shall be a delightsome land.
Tell him, shout it, I just touched down. Hey, what it is, shout it, yeah. I'm going places, shout it, I just touched down. Hey, what it is, shout it, yeah. I'm going places, shout it, I just touched down. Hey, what it is, shout it, yeah. I'm going places, shout it, I just touched down.
Well, Walt Grayson is back with us for his regular visit here on Friday as he focuses on Mississippi.
Now, Walt, we have many cultural icons in Mississippi, but you have one of the oldest and no doubt the largest as our destination today.
Yeah, 8 acres, that's kind of big. Yeah, I was trying to think of a place that you could go to, kind of get out of the house, get away from being cooped up against COVID, and have plenty of room for fresh air when you got there. Here's a suggestion. Just north of Natchez, well marked off the Natchez Trace, is Emerald Mound. Now, Mississippi's chock full of Indian mounds, but Emerald is special. It's so large, primarily, it covers 8 acres, with the base mound being about 30 feet high, and then secondary mounds on either end of the base mound, raising the height to about 60 feet. Emerald is the second largest Mississippian period mound in the nation. It's a ceremonial mound. It once had a ring of smaller mounds all around the top. All but 2 have eroded away. In all likelihood, Emerald Mound had a temple on top, and perhaps a residence for the chief or the high priest. The exact usage is educated conjecture because the culture had all but died out by the time Europeans came here in the 1600s and started writing things down. Let me tell you what this mound says to me. First of all, somebody wanted it real bad to go to all the work to build it. Now, can you imagine how long it would take and how expensive it would be to dig up the dirt, haul it here, pile it up, and build this today? I mean, even with modern machinery, it would take a while. It's worth seeing. Somebody went to a lot of trouble to build it. Now, the National Park Service owns the mound now, so all the federal COVID guidelines apply while you're here. And this is a Native American sacred site, so be respectful of it, as much as you would the old cathedrals in Europe or the pyramids in Egypt. And by the way, the name Emerald Mound comes from the Emerald Plantation. Now, that's where the name of the plantation where the mound used to be. Well, no, the mound is still there. The plantation's not there anymore. I guess that's what it was at first called Seltzertown Mound for a nearby town that has gone extinct over time.
A matriarchal lineage is a system in which family membership, identity, and inheritance are traced exclusively through the mother's side of the family. Unlike a patriarchy, where a child's name typically comes from the father, a matriarchy places the mother as the central point of the family tree. Children belong to their mother's clan. Even if the father is a king, his throne may pass to his sister's son rather than his own, ensuring the power remains within the maternal bloodline. The Natchez were one of the few Mississippian cultures to maintain their complex social and political structure well into the 18th century. Long after other mound-building chiefdoms collapsed, their society was defined by a rigid matriarchy that blended divine royalty with unique marriage rules, a lot like we learned from Watch the Throne between Genghis Khan and the Wang Khan. Marriage alliances, in this case, very unique. The Natchez political system was a theocracy where the leader, the great sun, was considered a living deity descended from the sun. While the great sun was the primary male leader, his power was inherited through his mother. She was his principal advisor and the senior female of the ruling matrilineage. The great sun's own sons could not succeed him. Instead, the title passed to the son of the woman's daughter, ensuring the divine bloodline remained strictly within the female line. The Natchez practiced obligatory exogamy, meaning members of the three upper castes were forbidden from marrying each other and must marry someone from the lowest class. Matrilineal inheritance, meaning if a son woman married a lower class man, her children remained sons because they inherited their mother's rank. If a son man married a lower class woman, his children dropped one rank to become nobles. This system naturally moved the descendants of noble men toward the commoner class over generations, while preserving the purity of the royal line through women. Alright, so what's that tell you? The mom is important, always has been. Always will be. Wisdom is a funny thing, man. Sometimes you just gotta sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, man. Let me know what y'all think, man. Leave a note in the comments. I'm cooking on this. The downfall of the Natchez was not just a result of territorial disputes, but a fundamental clash of worldviews. The French, coming from a patriarchal monarchy, completely misunderstood the Natchez power structure, which led to a series of diplomatic disasters. The conflict centered on three main systemic friction points. Number one being the misunderstanding of the Great Sun. The French assumed the Great Sun was an absolute monarch, like King Louis. They believed that they made a deal with the Great Sun. Every Natchez person was bound by it. That was far from the truth. While the Great Sun was a deity, Natchez society was decentralized. Individual clan mothers and local village chiefs held significant autonomy. When local Natchez villagers resisted French demands, the French punished the Great Sun. Conversely, when the Great Sun made concessions to the French, the clan mothers and younger warriors viewed it as a betrayal of the matrilineal land right system, leading to internal tribal fractures. Numero dos, land tenure versus private property. In the Natchez matrilineal system, land was not owned by individuals. It was held in trust by the matriarchy for future generations. In 1729, the French commander at Fort Rosalie demanded that the Natchez vacate their ancestral village so he could build a personal plantation. This wasn't just an eviction, it was a religious and social violation, and was the site of sacred mounds and the burial grounds of the matrilineal ancestors. For the Natchez, giving up this land meant severing their connection to the sun and their lineage. So the Natchez just wasn't going. Imagine you got your grandmama's, everybody buried in the mounds on your land that you planned on giving to your future generations. Some random French dude come talk about he trying to build a house and just displace all your family living in, not living, but you know what I mean, that's in the mound. Come on now, that doesn't make any sense, man. The Natchez wasn't going, man. How could you? Let me know what you think, and leave a note in the comments. Last but not least, the great son's death and the succession crisis. The stability of Natchez-French relations often relied on the personal relationship between French leaders and the great son's mother. In 1728, the great son and his brother both died. According to Natchez custom, when a son died, his wives and many servants were sacrificed to accompany him to the afterlife, they say. Again, this is the French telling us this, so again, take it with a grain of salt. The French were horrified by this, but their attempts to interfere with these matrilineal funeral rites were seen by the Natchez as an attack on their core spiritual identity. With the death of the pro-French elder sons, a younger generation of leaders who were less willing to tolerate French land grabbing rose to power. That was a problem. The tension culminated in the Natchez Revolt of 1729. The Natchez used a Trojan horse tactic. They entered the French fort pretending to trade, then launched a coordinated attack, killing over 200 French settlers. The French allied with the Choctaw, so again, man, it's a lot of choosing of sides here, responded with overwhelming force. They didn't just want a treaty, they wanted to dismantle the Natchez. So again, it goes to show you who is who at this point. Divide and conquer. By 1731, the French captured the last great son and his mother and sold them into slavery in Saint-Domingue, Haiti. So again, man, disconnect the dots, man. I shouldn't have to do all the work, man. Just context clues. This effectively beheaded the matrilineal state as the divine bloodline was forcibly removed from the land.
I went to my barbershop back home in Cambridge to see what my friends thought about their own ethnic mixtures.
There may be some connection there with the Taino Indians as well as...
And how much they still cling to age-old myths.
Okay, so Dennis has introduced the great claim that all African Americans I've met make, which is that their great-grandmother had high cheekbones and straight black hair and was a Cherokee. How many of you guys think that you have Native American ancestry? I do. Say all these Negroes got that.
Again, man, it's a dirty game. You can't make this up. Y'all see what we up against. Let me know what y'all think, man. I know my grandmas, both sides of my family, tapped in, but again, he saying grandma lying, so what do I know? You know, I just make videos, right? To understand the great son, you have to view him not just as a king, but as a living conduit to the cosmic order. His duties, his body, and his very right to breathe were entirely dependent on his maternal bloodline. The great son acted as the high priest and mediator between the spirit world and the physical world. His daily life was a series of rituals designed to keep the universe in motion. Every morning, the great son emerged from his house on top of the mound. He would face east, howl 3 times, and bow to the rising sun. He then offered the sun a pipe of tobacco to ensure it would continue its path across the sky. So we talking wake and bake. We talking the great son, man. You can't make this up. He was responsible for the sacred fire kept inside the temple. If this fire ever went out, the Natchez believed the nation would perish. So his job was to make sure the sun got where it needed to be. You know, he had to burn one first thing in the morning, make sure everything was smooth, keep the sacred fire burning, you feel me? Let me know what y'all think. Leave a note in the comments. While he lived in luxury, his duty was to manage the communal granaries. During the Great Corn Ceremony, he distributed food to the commoners, ensuring that the matrilineal clans were fed during lean winter months. So he fed the people. He was a man of the people, man. But again, he had some of mama's cooking, so he wasn't doing it all on his own. He held the power of life and death, but he rarely acted alone. He consulted with his mother on all diplomatic matters. In Natchez theology, the son, in quote, status was carried in the blood of the women, not the men. The Natchez believed the first great son was a celestial being who descended to earth to bring laws and fire. Again, can't make this up. He's bringing the law, he's bringing the code and keeping the sacred fire burning. Because he was a spirit, his essence could only be passed down through the womb of his female relatives. A great son's own sons had no divine abilities. They were considered noble, but not son. Only his sister's children possessed the son blood. His mother was often considered more powerful than the great son himself. She was the source of the divinity. He was merely the current or vessel of it. If the great son was incompetent, his mother and the clan mothers would theoretically influence his removal or overshadow his decisions. To see this system in the earth, you look at the Mound alignment in the lower Mississippi Valley. The Grand Village, this is the capital. You can see Mound B and Mound C. The physical space between them was a massive plaza used for rituals that validated the great son's power. Emerald Mound, one of the largest mounds in North America. Before the Grand Village became the capital, Emerald Mound was a massive ceremonial center. Its sheer scale of 35 acres at the base reflects the immense labor the great son could command through his divine status. Located north of Natchez, this site contains 8 mounds. It represents the earlier Middle Mississippian, they say, where this sun-worshipping matrilineal elite class first began to consolidate power. So again, take it with a grain of salt. You gotta remember, history is being told to us from the perspective of the winners, if you will. So we gotta look at it a little different, man. So they could say we was doing something that we might not even have been doing. Who knows? Let me know. The funeral of a great son was the most significant, and to European observers, the most terrifying. It was not merely a burial, it was a massive choreographed ritual of voluntary, keyword voluntary, alleged human sacrifice, designed to ensure the Sun King did not enter the afterlife alone. Because the great son was a deity, his death was seen as a cosmic crisis. The ritual served to re-anchor the universe and prove the undying loyalty of his people. For a commoner, volunteering for sacrifice was a way to elevate their family status. Again, volunteering. And like I said, we just taking this with a grain of salt, man. Don't overthink it. By giving a life to the great son, the surviving family members could be promoted to the honored or noble class. The great son was then buried inside the Temple Mount, in a restricted space containing the eternal fire and the bones of past sons kept in wicker chests, they say. After the burial, the house of the deceased great son on the opposite mound was often burned to the ground. The mound would then be capped with a fresh layer of earth, and a new house would be built on top for the successor, physically elevating the new leader above the past. So it eventually got to the point where the French was like just shaking their head like, this is something we ain't never seen before. We don't think we can control these people. We don't even know how the power structure works. It was confusing. This specific event showed the French that the Natchez Sun bloodline held a psychological power over the people that no European king could match. Even during these so-called mass sacrifices, the mother of the great son remained safe. She was the origin of the sons, and her life was too precious to sacrifice because she was needed to produce the next generation of divine rulers. She would live to mentor the new great son, ensuring the transition of power remained stable. The similarities, sun worship, divine kingship, monumental earthen pyramids, and elaborate funerary sacrifices are so striking that the Mississippian cultures are frequently nicknamed the Egyptians of the Old World or the Nile of the West, which honestly they should say the Mississippi of the East because the Mississippi River is far greater than the Nile. While there is no evidence of a direct physical connection between ancient Egypt and the Mississippi Valley, the Natchez and their ancestors are often discussed alongside Egypt in the context of independent invention. Again, you can't make this up. Let me know what y'all think, man. Shout out to UB. America is Egypt. Ain't no doubt about it. Despite the nicknames, there are two major differences that make the Natchez unique from the Egyptians. 1. Egyptian royalty was often patriarchal. In the Natchez system, the mother of the sun was the true source of divinity, making it a more pure matrilineal system than Egypt. So again, if it's more pure than Egypt's, it's got to be greater than Egypt. The original Egypt, at least. You let me know. Because the Mississippi Valley lacks large stone deposits, the Natchez built with the bones of the earth, soil, and clay. This made their structures more alive. They had to be constantly repaired and layered with new earth, which is why we see the distinct layers in the archaeological digs today. So, instead of building it with stone, they literally built it out of the earth. It was a living structure that lived, breathed, plants could grow out of it. You could bury people in it. It like continuously created life from death, if that makes any sense. So, I don't know what they doing over in so-called Egypt, but we know what was going down here in America, man. Simple and plain. Let's get it. Archaeologists often find artifacts in Natchez sites known as Southeastern Ceremonial Complex items. These include sun circles and cross-and-circle motifs carved into shell and copper. These look remarkably similar to Egyptian solar discs, reinforcing the Egyptian of the West nickname.
Okay, I'm standing in front of Mound A. That's what they officially call this bad boy. That is Mound A, and you can see there that they have been working on repairing and fixing this thing, preserving it, and they've got mats up there to help hold and stop it from washing and eroding. And it's good to see that they're doing that. That's really awesome that that the government is weighing in and preserving this thing. Again, as I pointed out earlier, used to be this line here, this fencing went all the way across, and you could not go back. You could see that mound back there in the background, but you couldn't go around. So, you know, this was kind of where you stood. This was where your view kind of ended at. And I don't know. I have to look at my pictures and video from my last trip out here from a couple of years ago. I'm wondering about that ramp. Now, if you look here in this video or this plaque, you see what this thing kind of looked like. It looks almost Egyptian-like. It looks like something way out in the Middle East. And you know, you can read some of this, but I was wondering this a little while ago as I was over there filming my YouTube video, how tall this thing was. I was trying to estimate how big it was. And according to this, at 55 feet, Mound A is one of the tallest remaining mounds in the United States. It's about the size of a 5-story building. So this thing is huge, as you can see. Okay, I am at Winterville Mound, or Mounds, right outside of Greenville, Mississippi. It's one of the largest and best kept and best preserved groupings of Indian mounds that you will ever find here in the state of Mississippi. And way back that way is well, there you are. You can see it right there at the end of my finger. That's where the museum used to be and your entrance. And I've come all the way back. I've never been back this far before. This is all the way back at the back end. And you can see over the years, they have been working on the upkeep and repair work of these Indian mounds. I've never walked all the way back to this mound here. I've never been behind this main mound. This is the center attraction right here. and I'm fixing to point out something. These Indian mounds are huge. I mean, they are massive. And I think there's like 9 of them all together. But here's the crazy part. I noticed this on the little plaque that's at the front of the mound. And now that I'm on the back side of it.
While there is no historical or cultural link between the Natchez and the nations of the Old Testament, they say, the theological and structural parallels are striking. Scholars often use these similarities to study how divine kingship and sacred lineage manifest in isolated civilizations. The Natchez practice of sacrificing high-ranking retainers or family members to accompany a leader into the afterlife finds a rare but direct parallel in the kingdom of Moab. In 2 Kings chapter 3, verses 26 and 27, the king of Moab, facing certain defeat by Israel, sacrificed his firstborn son and heir on the city wall. Just as the Natchez believed sacrifice could change the spiritual outcome of a crisis or honor a divine transition, in both cases, the sacrifice of a royal relative was the highest possible spiritual offering. The Natchez eternal fire, kept inside the temple mound and guarded by the great sun, is nearly identical in function to the tabernacle and first temple of the Israelites. In Leviticus chapter 6, Yahweh commands, the fire must be kept burning on the altar continuously. It must not go out. For both the Natchez and the Israelites, the fire was the physical manifestation of the divine presence. If the fire died, it signaled that the covenant was broken and the nation was no longer under divine protection. Alright guys, it's dang near about to get uncomfortable how close these parallels and connections are. But at this point, it is what it is, man. The Most High got us going deep. Either you with it or you're not. But we going there today, let's get it. The Natchez could elevate their family's caste by volunteering for sacrifice. While the Bible strictly forbids human sacrifice as an abomination, from Leviticus chapter 18 verse 21, it describes neighboring nations like the Canaanites and Ammonites doing exactly this. These nations practice passing children through the fire. Archaeologists suggest this was often done by elite families to secure favor or status, mirroring the Natchez idea that a life given to the divine hierarchy resulted in a permanent promotion for the surviving kin. So they were trying to do this to get up in the world, get a leg up. What's that make you think about, man? Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, man. I can't make this up. Leave a note in the comments. Dragon Canoe going crazy on this one. The physical expressions of grief in both cultures shared high-intensity bodily acts. From the Old Testament, mourners would tear their clothes, put ashes on their heads, and wail loudly. From Job chapter 2, verses 12 and 13. In the Natchez case, mourners at a great son's funeral would cut their hair and engage in ritualized wailing for days, often following the litter in a state of religious ecstasy. Let go, I told you, it's about to get wild. Hold on. While the Old Testament is predominantly patrilineal, tracing descent through the father, there are several notable cases and legal arguments that scholars in tradition point to as early roots or shadows of the matrilineal principle. In the stories of the patriarchs, the mother's status often determined whether a child was included in the covenant. Both Isaac and Ishmael were sons of Abraham, but only Isaac, the son of Sarah, inherited the covenant. Ishmael, son of the Egyptian Hagar, was excluded. So again, the mama matters, always has been, always will be. We're just following the breadcrumbs here. Jacob versus Esau. Both were sons of Isaac, but Jacob's lineage became Israel, while Esau, who married Hittite and Ishmaelite women, was considered not Israel. Jacob's children with Zilpah and Bilhah were considered Israelites. Some sources suggest this was because the mothers were maidservants whose status was absorbed by their mistresses, Rachel and Leah, or that they were half-sisters of the matriarchs. So again, man, this is deep. Let me know what y'all think. Leave a note in the comments, man. Your mama matters. The case of the Egyptian father from Leviticus chapter 24, verses 10 through 12. This passage tells the story of a man whose mother was an Israelite from the tribe of Dan, and whose father was an Egyptian. Significantly, he is identified by his mother's lineage, the son of an Israelite woman. Despite having a non-Israelite father, he was considered part of the community and subject to its laws. Ezra's decree. Following the Babylonian exile, Ezra commanded the returning men to divorce their foreign wives and send away the children. I cannot make this up. Traditional Ish interpretation argues that if children of Ish fathers were automatically Ish, Ezra would not have expelled them. Their expulsion suggests their status was tied to their non-Ish mothers. It gets even deeper. Check this out. The Talmud deduces that the matrilineal principle from Deuteronomy chapter 7 verses 3 and 4, which warns against intermarriage. The verse warns that a non-Ish father will turn away your son from following me. The sages interpret this to mean that the child of your Ish daughter is still called your son, but the child of your Ish son and a foreign woman is not called your son. Cannot make this up, man. Let me know what y'all think, man. It's deep. Hiram of Tyre, the master craftsman of Solomon's temple, had a Phoenician father but an Israelite mother from the tribe of Naphtali or Dan. Yet he was fully integrated into the holy work. Amasa, who led the Israelite army despite having an Egyptian father and an Israelite mother. Comparing the Natchez and biblical matrilineal systems reveals two distinct ways of using maternal blood to define a nation's sacred identity. While the Natchez used it to preserve a divine royal caste, the biblical tradition used it to preserve ethnic and religious membership. For the Natchez, matrilineality was about power and divinity. The son essence was believed to be physically carried in the womb of his mother. A great son's ability to rule was not earned. It was a biological inheritance that only a son mother could provide. In Hebrew tradition, matrilineality is about continuity and certainty because a mother's identity isn't, quote, rock solid. A child's birth from a specific mother is a verifiable physical fact. It became the standard for Ish status. Unlike the Natchez, this didn't grant supernatural powers, but ensured the child remained part of the covenant, which is basically supernatural power. Cannot make this up. Social mobility in the foreign father. The most striking comparison lies in how both systems handled a child with a foreign or lower status father. The Natchez. A son woman must marry a commoner. Her children, however, remain sons. The purity of the royal line was so strong that the father's low status was completely ignored. The mother's blood overrode everything. Similarly, Leviticus chapter 24 verse 10 describes a man with an Egyptian father and an Israelite mother. He is identified by his mother's tribe, Dan, implying that his Israeliteness was preserved despite his foreign father. America is Egypt, man. It is what it is. Comparing the son mothers of the Natchez to the biblical matriarchs like Sarah and Rebecca highlights two different ways women have historically served as the anchors of a nation's lineage. While both roles ensure the continuity of a sacred people, their formal power and specific duties differ significantly. The son mother was the biological source of the son bloodline. Her status was constitutional. The great son's power only existed because it passed through her. In the Natchez system, the mother's blood was the sole carrier of divinity. Sarah and Rebecca's role as the chosen matriarchs, through whom Hawa's promise to Abraham would flow. While the lineage is ultimately traced through the fathers Abraham and Isaac, Sarah and Rebecca acted as gatekeepers who determined which specific son would inherit the covenant. Simple math here. Connect the dots, my friend. Both systems use matrilineality as a survival mechanism during war. By centering the bloodline on women, the Natchez ensured that even if their warriors were killed by the French, the divine lineage could continue as long as the son women survived. Protect the women, man. We gotta protect our women. Rebekah famously engineered Jacob's reception of the blessing over his older brother Esau, acting as a director of destiny when the patriarchal structure favored the wrong heir. Similarly, the great son mother was the principal advisor to the great son. French observers noted that he made no major diplomatic or military decisions without consulting her. However, unlike Rebekah, who had to use deception to influence succession, the great son mother's role in determining the next son, her daughter's son, was the established law of the land. Sarah insisted that her son Isaac be the sole heir, leading to the expulsion of Ishmael, the son of the concubine Hagar. This mirrors the matrilineal pattern where the mother's status defines the child's membership in the chosen group. The great son mother's lineage was similarly exclusive. Even if the great son had dozens of children, none of them could be sons because their mothers were not of the royal line. Like Sarah, the great mother's womb or son mother was the only one that could produce a legitimate divine heir. Cannot make this up. Let me know what y'all think. Leave a note in the comments. All praises to the Most High.